Today is Wednesday, April 12th, 2023. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Survivor 44, Week 7.
Exciting. Very exciting.
Was exciting.
Yeah.
You might give the title first.
Yes. Okay, this week's title was Let's Not Be Cute About It, spoken by Matt.
Okay, now it was really exciting.
Mm-hmm. Enjoyed it. What'd you think about how it started?
Well,
Back at the Merge Tribe, they hadn't named it yet, on night 13, and Yam Yam's telling us that was awkward. How do you think he managed it?
I think he managed it as well as anybody can when people wrote your name down.
He said it's a pretty name, so he was
but
deflecting.
Please don't keep using it.
He was deflecting with humor quite well.
Yes.
He said he was out to charm the people.
Yes, but he saw his name for the first time, and now he feels like it's an option.
Yes, it is. That name is in play.
That's right.
The ball is
for
rolling.
A vote off. Yep.
Yeah, and that's why I chose him to be voted out.
Yes, you did.
Okay, day 14.
Okay, aren't you going to give the name of the tribe when they're figuring it out on day 14 right up front? Va-va.
That's where we are. Yeah.
I know that's where I am.
Yam Yam tells us that it means that Yam Yam means survivor, so we should call the tribe Yam Yam. But nobody's buying it.
But they did like his va-va, meaning 44. For season 44.
Technically, it means 4. The actual word 44 in Fijian is different. But it totally works. And
so va-va is 4?
It's like saying 4-4 instead of 44. Yes, va is 4.
Okay, well, 4-4 is good enough. Va-va. So va is technically 4.
Yes.
Okay. So it's not like shia. Shia is... Okay, never mind.
Yeah, you were off track on that one. I'm going to let you stop right there.
Well,
then
okay.
Yam Yam notices that Matt's not there. Cut to Matt having a moment. This was from the Next Time on Survivor, where he's celebrating that he finally has a vote, and he's telling us that how important Frannie is, and he is flying high.
He is just soaring.
I have an idol.
He's got all the power.
Yes.
He's got an idol.
Yes.
He's got a girl. He's got an alliance. He's got it all. He's in a position of power. We should have known right there he was going home.
Well, that was my takeaway after watching that Next Time on, or the little extra clip like we were talking about in the listener feedback show, where they shared this portion of this episode, and I was convinced, but of course,
well, for
things
those
didn't play out
of
that way.
you who listened to Stacy carry on the listener feedback show last Saturday about how he was getting rid of Matt,
Yes,
I will tell you that he did not.
you're just gonna get it out there now.
Kept him.
You
Yes.
couldn't wait.
No,
Okay.
They should know where you're coming from.
I see.
And so he is disappointed because he kept him, and that didn't work out.
I think you're woman-splaining for me.
Okay. That works for me.
I like this next segment.
I'm good
where
with that.
We see Brandon and Matt and Kane, and who else was there? Yam Yam was there, and they were having that discussion. Brandon shares, with the birdcage, there was the real and the fake in there. Uh-huh. And then Matt, after just celebrating, what a great position he was in, he goes, "Oh no, mine's worthless."
I really did like that Matt put that together real quick, like,
Thank you, Brandon.
there was not 2 in there. That means somebody...
I got the fake.
And he figured out that it was Danny that had it.
Sneaky Danny.
What I don't know is, did he tell anyone what he thought? Did he tell Frannie? Did they discuss it? I'm assuming they probably did, if they had the time, or if they told anybody else that possibly Danny has the idol.
Meanwhile, Danny, he's scheming. He's talking to Heidi and Carson and highlighting, putting the spotlight on Lauren. She's got that extra vote, remember?
Heidi and Carson? He was talking to Kane, Frannie, and Carson.
Okay. I guess we have different people.
One of us made a mistake. It's probably me.
And he's ready to target Lauren for that extra vote, and he's enjoying being a devious little stinker, he says.
Yep, because she's got 2 votes. We got to get her out. Okay, Danny, but you got an idol.
And we see Matt talking to Frannie and Kane, and Carson joins them. And I think this is where your confusion came in. And he's saying, hey, let's let Danny think he's leading, but let's put a blind side on Danny.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So they want to work with Tika. And, of course, Carson says, yes, sure. Let's get rid of Danny. Now,
Danny or Lauren, doesn't matter. And he's talking to Carolyn and Yam Yam, the Three Stooges Alliance, as they call it, bringing them up to speed on what's going on.
Okay. And then, bam, that's enough tribe time. Let's go to the challenge.
Yes, continuing on day 14. Everything in this episode happens on day 14. It's a one-day episode.
Yes. And, okay, even the description of all that was going to happen at this challenge was like, whoa, too much, Jeff, too fat. What?
Yeah, a lot. There's a lot of components. Well, it started with a great slow-mo walk-in as the castaways came in. And then he lays it out for them in the immunity portion of the challenge. They're going to have to stand on a beam, and then they've got they got to balance a ball on a plate that has a small little rim on it so it doesn't immediately fall off the second it's tilted. And there's a long pole that they've got to hold, and they've got to hold it above them.
Which, is very hard to your arms after a while. Ooh.
And there's just holding your arms up, even with nothing in your arms, it will get to you pretty quickly. Yeah, so they've got to balance that without the ball falling off the plate, the balance plate there onto the ground, and then they're going to have to balance on a balance beam, and then they'll spend a certain amount of time on the beam, and then they've got to move up where the beam becomes more narrow.
So I think this is where they had originally planned to have a double elimination.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
And they had to switch it into something different because they had 2 medicals.
So the details keep coming. They're going to split up into 2 teams.
Yeah.
They're going to have the orange and the purple teams again. They're going to draw for that. One person's going to draw a gray rock, and they're going to sit out, and they're going to have to pick which team they think is going to win. And if that team wins, they get to celebrate and get the reward with them. So there's 2 individual immunities, which is how this goes when they're doing a double elimination. So the last person standing on orange team gets an individual immunity. The last person on purple team gets individual immunity and also wins immunity for their whole tribe. So that's how they took care of that.
So in the end, we thought for a while there Carson had chosen poorly, but it turns out he didn't.
And there's a reward. You just skip right to the end.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought you were done.
There's also a reward for the last team standing, and that's peanut butter jelly time. They get those big old peanut butter and jelly.
Plus chips and tea.
Yeah, iced tea. Get some nice, cool iced tea. So for the orange team, we've got Heidi, Kane, Danny, Frannie, and who else? Carolyn. And for the purple team, there's Brandon, Matt, Lauren, Jaime, and Yam Yam. Sitting out, we got Carson. And Carolyn goes out pretty quick for the orange team. She's barely up there a few seconds, and she drops the ball. And then Lauren goes out for purple.
Yep. Then for third, Kane went out third. That surprised me.
He couldn't make the transition, so they were transitioning to the next more narrow stage of the balance beam.
Then it was Heidi and Danny. Danny went out fifth. That was surprising to me, too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he'd have, pretty good balance, but those big muscular arms might have been a problem, as far as holding them up there.
So it came down to Frannie. She's pretty much carrying that orange tribe on her shoulders. And
Yes.
it's time for Frannie to break out beast mode again.
And she knows she has immunity, so.
Yes.
And does she drop it and let that tribe win and risk? She has immunity. She's not going home. But, she could have saved Matt that way.
She has a chance to...
But I'm glad she didn't do that.
Yeah, she has a chance to win immunity for her whole team.
Yes. And eat, which is important. So...
Jaime drops out, and now it's Frannie against Yam Yam, Matt, and Brandon. Matt is unable to make the next transition, and then just after that, Yam Yam went out, so it's down to Frannie versus Brandon. Beast mode showdown.
Yeah, that's when I started screaming at the TV. Go, Frannie! Go, Frannie!
It got loud. Yeah, we were both cheering for her.
Well, I wanted them to lose because I had Brandon going home, and yet it didn't dawn on me till he dropped that, wait a minute, he's safe anyway.
Right. Yeah, at this point, they both have individual immunity. Now it's who's going to win immunity for their team. And Brandon pulls off some miraculous saves multiple times. He saved it, but in the end, Frannie was triumphant. She won immunity for the orange team.
Good on her. And she seemed to be very emotional about it, that she was able to do it.
Yeah, Probst celebrated it, saying that was like a first where one person had saved their whole team in a challenge like that. We've seen those hero face-offs before where they pick one person
I thought
to
Erica
represent.
did that. I thought Erica saved her tribe in a challenge and won for everybody. Oh, no,
No, it didn't go that way.
She gave it up.
It was a double elimination.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying wasn't the longest lasting one.
No, nope.
That's what I was thinking she did, but she didn't. So
Correct.
I was wrong.
So a survivor first, according to what Probe said there. And the purple team learns that they have to go back to Old Soka Beach to figure out who they're going to vote out. And we learned that Matt wasn't paying attention at all, only brought his water bottle, doesn't have his shot in the dark dye, doesn't have his fake idol, just his water bottle. So he is in a bad place.
Well, he was safe. He's high on he's on top of the world.
No,
he didn't
actually,
need to bring
he
his
just
bag.
had the rug pulled out from under him when he found out he's got a fake idol.
I know that, but what I'm saying is he went to the challenge. He was so high up, he couldn't imagine why he would need his bag.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think he thought that through. I thought, well, I bet that'll make the rest of them keep their stuff with them at all times.
So we head back to Ratu Beach, which is now named Vava for the merged tribe. And they're celebrating Frannie. She is a force of nature, they say.
That's
and
what Danny said.
Enjoying their sandwiches, their peanut butter jelly sandwiches and chips and iced tea. And Danny notices there's an envelope. There's a note there that says for them to open it after they finish eating.
After they finished eating.
It was very considerate to include that direction so that
yeah, because I would have grabbed that
food.
Sucker first thing.
Yeah.
But
and they're talking a little bit, and they pretty much figure it's either going to be Yam Yam or Matt that gets voted out.
Which Carolyn didn't like, and I thought
neither did Frannie.
At that point, I thought Frannie handled it pretty well. Going, yeah, well, she would, prefer that, but she didn't seem to be upset or anything. Or I thought, oh, okay, she's keeping it pretty cool. She's not panicking or saying anything too much. She's just eating.
Yeah, so we get shots. We get confessionals from Frannie. We get a confessional from Carolyn saying that she knows that Matt's more well-liked, and she feels powerless to help Yam Yam. And she's hoping there's something that she can do somehow.
Yeah, and Frannie's terrified. She didn't show terrified, but she's feeling it.
Back over to the old Soka camp, and Brandon's talking about Frannie, too. Frannie the monster, he says.
Yep, he wanted that food, but at least he got immunity.
He got immunity, and he's got Lauren and Jaime there, and they're going to set the direction for this vote.
Yep, and he said as long as they stick together, they'll be fine.
Matt immediately acknowledges that he's feeling vulnerable, and he asks to speak to people individually.
Yep.
At which point we see him talking to Brandon and Jaime together at the well.
Well, and, Brandon was kind of leaning toward Yam Yam because, like he said, I voted for him last night.
Right.
And that could come back and bite me at some point. So I'm good sending him home and going.
Sounded good to me.
Well, it sounded good to Matt, too. But at some point along the way, I think, well, let's go over to the conversation between Yam Yam and Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells us she wants Matt, and she's the one with 2 votes if she chooses.
Right, because Danny had just told her, not Danny, Yam Yam had just told Lauren that Danny wanted her out. He was targeting her. And so she can't get Danny, but she can get Matt, who's close to Danny.
Who's in Soka, as far as she's concerned. Yeah. It's all the same.
And she's looking to break up Frannie and Matt. And she knows that Matt has no bag. He's got nothing with him.
So we saw that something had shifted, and I was assuming that once Lauren spoke with Brandon and Jaime, then she told them, no, we got to do this, and they agreed because Matt knew going in that they were planning on voting for him, or he seemed to.
Yep, yeah. It was natural to think that. Yam Yam's pretty concerned, too. But
well, he is, because you can never be sure.
He's wondering when he's going to get his chance at having a little bit of power in the game.
Yeah.
Because he's been struggling and fighting for quite a while, coming from the losing Tika tribe. Back over to Vava, and Frannie opens the note, and they learn that there's a new advantage that's been placed in the birdcage, and there are keys scattered around the camp area.
All over the place.
So once you find a key, you race back to the birdcage and you try it. If it doesn't work, you drop it in the bowl and go out and look for another key. And that's where we got the clip from last week's Next Time on Survivor, where we see Kane talking about how much he loved it. Like it was D&D, and he was searching for treasure, magical treasure, and we see Carson trying a key and Carolyn trying a key and Frannie trying a key. Is a whole sequence of people finding keys and trying them.
Yeah, I thought he might be going to be the one to get it, since they showed him running around and finding something.
He said that
they tricked us.
He was running around with food sloshing around in his gut.
Yeah.
So he loved doing the hunt for the keys and trying to get an advantage, but at the same time, this was
on a full tummy.
Yeah, on a full stomach. So
Yikes.
It's kind of hard.
And a tummy that hasn't had any real food in a while,
Yeah, we get to see everybody finding keys and trying them, and then eventually Heidi ends up getting it. And Frannie's there to see it happen, where Heidi retrieves the advantage out of the birdcage.
Control a vote advantage. It can only be played that night.
Mm-hmm.
She gets to tell one player who to vote for, and they have to do it.
When Probst announces that it's time to vote, she gets to interrupt the proceedings and tell someone, you're going to vote for so-and-so. And that's, like you said, only in effect for this tribal council, it says.
And a quick trip back over to old Soka. And Matt is really missing Frannie and talking about how much she's been his rock. He's feeling very alone. And he has to have that in order to play the shot in the dark.
Uh-huh.
He has to have that with him.
Yeah.
Why is
they all
that
have
in
them.
their pocket? But
Good question, I guess. Just before we see him lamenting not having Frannie there, missing that one person that he feels like he can trust in the game. We see him talking to Brandon, and Lauren's there, and this is like the second exchange. I don't know if we covered it earlier, but it's the second time Matt is saying something and Brandon's contradicting him. So I was picking up on that. So Matt has to backpedal a couple of times in his discussions when he's talking with Brandon. He says, the best person at Survivor doesn't always win, and Brandon doesn't agree. So, and he's trying to tell Matt how he thinks if that person gets there and wins, that was the best person.
Well, he's speaking to the first person on the jury. So, if they knew at that point they were voting him out, he knew he was talking to the first person on the jury, most likely.
Yeah. No way to know for sure, but yeah.
No.
But it was, what I was trying to highlight there is there's this dynamic where Matt's trying to make a connection and it's just not working. He's in effect knocking heads with Brandon a little bit. They're not getting on the same page, even when the discussion isn't about who to vote for. Matt was trying to make a social connection, but it just wasn't working. That was like the second attempt that we saw.
He will remember that if Brandon gets anywhere near the final. So,
what do you think about Matt and Yam Yam potentially teaming up to work up a Lauren blindside?
Well, I think it would have been nice if they'd been able to pull something off, but obviously they didn't have enough confidence to do that. And if they were kind of letting it be known that it was probably going to be Matt, then I'm not sure Yam Yam would have wanted to go against them if he's telling them he'll work with them.
Well, I think it was exciting for us in the audience because we thought, there might be another play. There might be another option with the control the vote advantage that Heidi has.
Right.
If Matt and Yam Yam can trust each other and vote together. Yeah. And I was initially thinking, what if
we ran the scenarios?
Exactly. Heidi's able to tell Lauren how to place both of her votes. And so, yes, Lauren is the person you should target because you could potentially be in control of 2 votes. But we don't know for sure. But then all of a sudden, that's potentially 4 votes that you could put together, and that would give you the majority in the group of 6. That was what we were thinking. Just another exciting element.
Well, we were looking at other possibilities. That there was a possibility that Jaime or Lauren could have gone. And so we were trying to run those scenarios, and if they did this or they voted this or whatever. But we just assumed that Lauren would probably use her 2 votes to make sure they got what they needed. But
I liked how Jaime was weighing the pros and cons when they cut to her here. And she's thinking, okay, which one of these is going to have more social fallout? Which one do I have to do less damage control for? I enjoyed getting to see her weighing those different options and trying to see how she was going to deal with it after it was done and how that was going to influence her decision.
Yeah, but she chose Matt, who I believe will have the most social fallout.
At this point, we didn't know which way she was going to choose. It was just getting to see her thought process and how she was approaching the strategy elements of it, considering that social fallout and which one could cost her the most.
Yeah, I don't know if she had as much say as maybe Lauren and Brandon if they were deciding. They had 3 votes all by themselves if they wanted. So I don't know that it would have, if she wanted to do something different, I don't know that it would have benefited her in the long run.
Yeah, it's definitely a numbers game. It'd be a gamble. She could have potentially approached Matt and Yam Yam to try to do something. Anyway, I liked seeing her work on those different angles. And then we do see Lauren, Brandon, and Jaime talking about needing to split the vote just in case one of them had something.
Well, I do think that it was probably the whole couple thing that was one of the main reasons that they wanted them out. And not just that, because the way it turned out, it was a vote against Soka as well. But the influence of the vote, I thought Heidi was going to not save Matt, but I guess Frannie must have done some talking.
Right. We bounced back over to Vava there, and we do see it was a great sequence for Heidi. She really got a spotlight here because we see her looking at it from all the different angles too. So as much as Jaime was trying to take that in consideration, Heidi's doing some heavy work. She's coming at it individually with each person, trying to weigh these things out, and we get to see her presenting different possible outcomes to the different people too, which showed you how much she was working to try to figure out what was the best thing for her.
I forgot to ask you what you thought of Lauren's idea about splitting the vote. I thought right then she was going to go if they split the vote. But she had mentioned that to them about, I think we should split the vote. And she made that comment of, I'm not going home. That's when I started to think, maybe she is.
It could happen. Right.
So, but
Heidi
anyway.
could really throw a monkey wrench into all this.
You know what I liked about what Heidi did was she spoke to everyone. She asked their opinion, who they would prefer, and took all that information, but made up her own mind, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
But I really liked that, she thought it all through, and I'm not sure why she decided to go against Yam Yam instead of Matt.
We get some interesting teasers in the conversations when Heidi's talking to Frannie, and basically saying that there may be a way to save Yam Yam and Matt. Frannie's really just interested in targeting Yam Yam.
Yeah.
She wants a more certain thing to save Matt, I guess. And we see Danny, Kane, and Heidi talking about potentially, and Danny's still pushing the Lauren angle for maybe coming up with a way for doing that.
Well, I thought Frannie didn't do quite as well hiding things or not being intense about it.
When they were one-on-one,
Yeah,
she seemed a little more desperate, didn't she?
Yes, she did. And I thought, oh, that's not good.
We saw Heidi was just, her social game was really clicking in this sequence, at least the way it was presented. We see her talking to Carolyn, and she seems to have a good angle on what everyone wants and having those different discussions with them. Then we see her talking to Kane about how Matt's potentially the most dangerous.
Well, I kind of think that Frannie actually hurt Matt in that she got intense, and if Heidi wasn't already clued in about how tight they were, I think that clued her in. And why would she want that?
Well, yeah, Heidi seemed very clear when she was talking to Kane. She was telling Kane, Frannie's my girl, and Matt's closer to Frannie, so she's okay getting rid of Matt so that Frannie will be closer to her.
Exactly.
And she says she likes Yam Yam. She thinks she can probably work with him. They've got the Puerto Rico connection.
Yeah, and
too.
even has a soft spot for him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why.
The Puerto Rico connection, or just because he's such a character. Lovable Yam Yam.
So I thought, yeah, she really is looking at it from all angles, and I thought, I can't see anything but advantage to separating. Even for Heidi, I think it's better for her and Matt to be separated, honestly.
That seemed to be what Heidi was saying, yeah. She was thinking that she couldn't save Matt as she was running all the numbers and looking at how things could play out. And then we bounce real quick back over to Matt and Yam Yam. They're both admitting to each other that they're nervous and maybe something's going to happen. And then Heidi sums it up and tells us that she's got herself quite the conundrum that she's got to figure out.
I actually was a little bit surprised anyway when she told her she had to vote for Yam Yam.
Okay, let's talk about that. We'll go to Tribal Council next. There on night 14, and we see Matt eyeing Frannie. He's got some desperation in his eyes for sure. And Jaime ends up getting the first question from Probst. He's asking her, what's it like to be back in a small tribe again? And she says, well, it just really amplifies the need to have a social game.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. I'm still wanting to jump to that because
Jump to what? Sorry.
To where, just before the vote, but I'll wait.
We're almost there.
I'll control myself. Go ahead.
And Matt gets the next question. Probst wants to know what lessons he's learned at this point. And
I like Matt pitching. I'm willing to work with any of you, all of you.
This was a fun sequence. He started off by answering Probst by saying, well, I don't have my bag. Would it be possible, I see there might be a bag over there. Can I go get my bag? And it turned out that not only did Frannie win and send Matt to be potentially voted out, but she didn't think to bring his bag either.
Jeff's like, did anyone bring his bag? Why would they bring his bag? They didn't even know they could.
Frannie might have
could do that.
Yes, but they know Survivor, and they know that you do and then ask.
Okay, but
first.
Here's the thing that I want to know, and we're not going to know until later on. Is Frannie going to try to use his fake idol? Is she going to go try to get his bag and get it out of it before it's taken away, or is there no opportunity for that once they're out of the game? They removed their bag and its contents.
Other people knew it was fake, so I think it's kind of moot. But so he didn't get his bag, and then he tries to bribe Probst with a papaya.
Yeah. Nice try.
He's trying to soften the blow. He's like, how about no torch snuffing, and we'll just call it a night and head back. What do you think?
That didn't work so well for Yam Yam when he tried it before.
And this is when we get the title of the episode where Matt acknowledges, yes, I am absolutely concerned. That is desperation you hear in my voice and all these ideas I'm pitching, because these 3 Ratu tribe members are making the decision, and that's where he said, let's not be cute about it. And then he breaks it down for Probst.
Well, and then he breaks down and cries and talks about how, he didn't know if he had enough social skills and would have enough support out there to even be able to play. And which made Frannie cry along with him over there. I think she saw the writing on the wall, maybe.
Yam Yam says that he's feeling pretty much the same as Matt at this point. And, oh, by the way, it's been that way for the last 4 tribals. He's definitely been in a hopeless place multiple times now.
And he, he's I'll vote with anyone, and I'm just a teddy bear, but I can be tough if I need to, and, blah, blah. He's selling himself, trying really hard. And then Jeff says the words, it's time to vote. And then Miss Heidi pops up, tells everybody about her advantage. I still am so surprised, and I would really like to know, because I thought there on the beach, she was convinced that she needed to get rid of Matt, and then she didn't. She said, vote Yam Yam, and I was really surprised by that. So I guess she got over her little sweet spot, or just decided it was the best thing for her game, ultimately. But I would have liked to have had a follow-up to see how she made her decision. Maybe we'll get it next week.
Yeah, maybe we'll get another
extra
video.
I would like to see that.
I doubt it,
she
but
went the way she went.
Yeah, might have to wait until whenever we do get an interview with her, whenever that happens in the course of the season.
Yeah,
Lauren
or somebody
was
gets an interview with her.
Lauren was quick to ask, now, is that both the votes that I control or just the one? And Probst said that's only pertains to one vote.
Good on her.
Yeah.
She clarified right off.
Yeah, she seemed to like that. It wasn't full control over her. Mm-hmm. It was important for her to establish that.
I thought she had this determined look. I thought, oh, she's going to go vote one for Yam Yam and the other one for Matt.
Yeah. Okay, so we get the votes, and it clocks out even 2-2. Nobody played a shot in the dark, and got to 2-2, and then the next vote comes in, and Matt is out first on jury.
And Lauren did not play.
Save that
her extra vote, so they did not flush it.
Right.
Which means she's still going to be a target in Danny's book anyway.
So one day, all those elements, I like how they adapted to the fact that they didn't need to do the double elimination, and how all this played out, working in the extra advantage that was only good for this one day, for this one tribal council. And we were looking at the note. It does say that control of the vote was good for one tribal council. So it seems like there could have been a potential way to, if Heidi still gets to control it through the course of revotes, if Heidi had told Brandon, vote for Lauren, at which point Yam Yam and Matt realized, okay, we're going to vote for Lauren too, then they could have potentially come up with another outcome, as long as you can continue to control that vote through revotes. And it did say that you controlled it for tribal council, so I kind of think that would be the case.
Maybe, but we may never know.
Might have been another option. Well, hopefully someone will dig into that, and we'll get some, either Probst will comment it on his podcast, or we'll get some questions.
We would kind of like to know that, in case it ever happens again.
So, yes, I stuck with Matt. I went with my gut, a sunk cost fallacy. I don't know what was doing it, but I ended up sticking with him for my USB. So those sting when
Yes.
they're immediately voted out.
I was really surprised when you told me you stayed with Matt.
I know, I was so clear on Saturday, and then I started thinking about this.
You
and I
were
thought,
adamant.
love will find a way. Frannie and Matt
You
are going to
did a
work this out.
Joanne, but it's 24 points.
Yeah, that's the sunk cost fallacy. That's part
what
of it.
always tripped me up.
Yeah.
And so you
I'm
did
in.
what I did.
This is how to
You
maximize
stuck
it.
with 'em.
It did not work out in my favor, and I didn't get the vote out for Yam Yam. So
Well, at least you didn't lose a safe point like I
it
did.
could have been worse. That's what you're highlighting.
Who did I have safe? Go ahead, name them.
Oh, I don't remember. Sorry.
Well, I had Jaime, Matt, and Lauren safe.
Yeah. So half of the
And
tribal
Brandon
council.
was safe with an idol.
Yeah, he was your choice for vote out. So that wasn't.
So-
you weren't getting that.
Matt was the only way that. Oh no, I had Matt safe. No. I had.
Yeah, you 3-pointed,
Oh, I
didn't
said
you?
Matt. Yeah,
Yeah.
I 3-pointed this week. So, I thought, well, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm losing a point anyway, because Brandon can't go home, and so unless they somehow, it just
No,
I
that
was
wasn't gonna happen.
losing. Yeah, no.
Yeah. So I enjoyed it, even though I lost my USB. That was a really exciting episode. I liked the pace. I liked all the different elements. I thought the extra advantage, the fact that it expired, that just added a new possibilities to consider, which made it even more fun for me. So I enjoyed all that. And I like that it wasn't that I don't remember seeing them do that before. It was a variation on that, be on the balance beam and balance something above you kind of thing.
Well, we won't even go into my whole theory of how Brandon was going home. 'Cause
Okay.
I had that figured out. You know what it is because I told you. But it was so off base. I saw the whole thing switching, and yeah, okay, never mind.
Next time on Survivor,
Frannie, of course, is very upset that Matt's gone, but I don't understand her. I'm marooned by myself with nothing.
is that figuratively or literally?
I don't know.
I think it's figuratively.
I would assume it was figuratively, but we don't know that for sure, but that's what I assumed.
I am hoping that we see Beast Mode Frannie get some revenge. I hope she works out a plan
I hope she does too.
and cleans some clocks on Ratu.
Yeah, I would say that's a pretty good bet that she's going to be gunning for them. So, and Brandon, we see Brandon and Kane sitting there, and we hear Brandon saying, "We are dictating how this game is being played."
Just before the
right.
fall. That's when you hear statements like that. A la Matt is an example of what control he was in. It's like step 1, realize that your idol is fake. Step 2, be voted out.
Yep. And Jamie's like, "Is he okay?" And then they flip to Carson throwing up on his knees,
Yeah, trying to make it
all
into
wrapped
the
up.
bush.
So it made me think he's also feverish.
Yes, he could have a fever.
Because
and
he's wrapped up.
He says he's just trying to push through it right now. So
Yep.
he is in for some bad time.
But is it a food poisoning thing, or did he just catch something
We
out
get
there? We don't
Carolyn
know.
doing her dinosaur screams or bird squawks, whatever it is, as she's stuck in that net that got Noelle last season.
Yep. I can't remember the rest of that challenge.
That leg
exactly.
stealer. Yeah, it didn't
We'll have to
matter
go back.
because you don't make it through that stage. So
Yeah.
the person that was your partner that's waiting on you to come through,
Mm-hmm.
they're out of it too.
Well, and
Right, because they were in pairs for that.
yes, they were.
And the two people who got stuck in the net like that,
Yeah, there were 2 people last season. I forget who the other one was, but
the one with Noelle was, oh crap, what's the young guy's name? He was 19, telling him he was 21. I can't even remember his name now. Anyway, he was Noelle's teammate. So.
yes. Okay.
Anyway,
He was
Carolyn's
very
going to
kind.
end someone's hope for reward there.
Boy, she looked really wrapped in there
Yeah.
on both ends.
Just
So
like last season, it was the same
it's
way.
like I think you went absolutely the wrong rolls. Whichever way you were rolling was not.
She doesn't look
good.
like she has the skill set to get herself out of that, but who knows? Maybe she'll surprise us.
I would go help her get out just to stop her from screaming more.
And we see Danny talking to Frannie and saying, we'll make a big move. We're going to take someone from Ratu out.
Yep,
Maybe.
which I'm sure
We'll
is
see.
what she wants to
Frannie
hear.
would love that, yeah. We'll see how they go about pulling that off. How about a JSFL update?
Hatter is in first place with 33 points. The 15 people lost their USB. 70.
Me.
Yes, you. 79 people lost a safe point. And congratulations to the 51 people who earned the 2 points first on jury vote off.
The bonus, yeah.
The bonus.
Bonus point for that.
Got 2 for this week. And in the side challengers, congratulations to Chris. He is now in first place with 32
Wow,
points.
big jump. Someone got full points this week.
Yep. With 31 points, we have Jeremiah and Rebecca. With 30 points, Cold Mike. I believe it was Chris and Cold Mike that got
They got full points?
full points.
Nice.
I don't think anybody else did. With 29, we have Justin and Randy. With 27, we have Drew, Parker, and Robert. With 26, down near the basement, we
Yeah.
have Stacy.
Hanging around down there.
And with 24, Lisa Ray.
All right, thank you, Lisa.
Well, you at least had a
My buffer.
4-point week.
Yes.
She had a 3-point like me. So
Yeah.
it's like, well, bummer. But cool. I just like that it was very exciting. So anyway, I want to also give the new totals for the new USBs.
Right? People
So-
had an opportunity to switch.
And Stacy called this actually. And for a little while today, she was my USB until I switched it again.
So
and
who's
thought,
the most popular?
Carolyn.
Yeah.
Carolyn had 7 pre-merge and now has 40.
Wow.
And she's in the number 1 spot, has the most people. And number 2 is Carson. He started out pre-merge with 9 and he's now at 36. Frannie, who I also, for me it was between Carolyn, Carson, Danny, and Frannie. Those were the 4 I was looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And changed around. Frannie started with 11 people and now has 35, which they're probably even more happy now that he's gone and she can focus on playing hard.
Yeah, focus on herself. Although she lost a huge ally in the course of the game, too.
True. Now, Danny started out with 24 people, and now he's got 29,
a little
which
bump.
I'm one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yam Yam started with 26, and he's now got 29. Lauren started with 16, has 18 now.
Gained a couple.
Matt started out with 25 and was down to 15.
Uh-huh.
Brandon started with 17 and he's down to 12. Heidi started with 7 and she's up to 12.
Got to think some of those folks there are really happy with what they got to see
Of Heidi,
from Heidi
you betcha.
tonight. Yeah.
Jaime started with 11 people and now she's down to 7.
Okay.
Kane had 9 and is down to 7. And then the rest of the people, these are people who have either quit playing or whatever, because there's still, for all the people who have been voted off,
They didn't make a change. Yeah.
it still has them as their USB. So.
Right. So they didn't do any update.
Yeah, they didn't do any updates. Either they forgot to change or they've quit playing or
Yeah.
whatever. So, but I'm not going to do the people who are out of the game. So,
Anything else you want to say about JSFL?
not really.
Okay.
Just that I was a little bit surprised that you were right, that as many people went with Carolyn.
Oh, she's been
But-
pushed so heavily by the edit.
I thought I was going to stick with her. I went ahead and then I went and got my hair cut and came back and thought, I just don't think it would be as fun to cheer for her to win as it would be for Danny. I really struggled with wanting to choose Carson, which that's who you said you were going to choose was Carson.
Well, I was definitely looking hard at Carson,
hometown
for sure.
boy and all that.
Yeah.
And Georgia boy, but I just think Carson's gonna blow it, maybe.
Yeah, he's definitely blowing something in the next episode. There's his tummy's emptying itself.
I didn't mean that
all
way,
over the
but
jungle.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he'll survive for that, and they don't have another medical.
Yeah.
But I did go with Danny in the end. I thought it would be, I thought it would be that they showed me just that little bit of him going around and socializing with people one-on-one underneath the radar kind of. So I thought, okay, he is a big target, but I don't know. I just thought it'd be fun to cheer for him. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Totally understand that.
Maybe not. That's what I chose.
Wow, I'm excited to hear what the other super fans thought about this episode with all these different elements how the vote off came to be and what we can look forward to. We got some battle lines that are more definite now, so it's going to be exciting to see what happens. Are they going to be able to take Aratu out in the next one? How's that that play out?
I'm excited just to rewatch.
That too. Hey, if you want to join us in this next listener feedback show, we got a voicemail line, 206-350-1547. Toll free, 844-643-8737. You can record your own audio or you can type it up and we'll read it into the show for you. That email address is joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. Feedback's due noon Pacific time on Saturdays. We ask you keep it, regardless of how you send it, keep it in that 3-minute range so that we can get through it in 3 minutes and get everybody in. We've been having just exciting fun, lots of different angles considered in the listener feedback show. It's always a blast. Come be a part of that. Look forward to hearing from you.
And this should be an exciting episode
to dig into.
Yes.
Yeah, lots to talk about. Anything else?
Nope.
Have a good one.